The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. Between science and ignorance, there is filler.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 6th version of Paranormal Filler 2016. My guest tonight is Dustin Pari, and I'm just hoping everything's working. I've got so many computers going here that it's just totally incredulous. Dustin Pari is my guest tonight, of course, and I have to tell everybody, I am more nervous about this episode tonight than I have been about any for the last 6 months. And it's not because he's Dustin Pari. Dustin and me are good friends. The problem is, all of you Dustin Pari fans that have been tweeting about this and making me feel so much pressure. I am just tied up in knots with nervousness and pressure. And set the bar lower, people. You're supposed to say, "Oh, it's just him again." Been a beautiful week in Kentucky. The weather has been, well, it didn't start off that way, but anyway, it's warmed up finally. Been a beautiful weekend, I should say. The weekend has been lovely, except for the mud that is roughly butt deep, and so that's kind of slowed things down. But we got a good show tonight. Let's see if I got anything on the calendar I should talk about. We could tell you that you got one more today's Sunday, so that means you can't go to that. Spirits of the Bay at Manresa Castle, if they're not sold out. That's a little event up in Port Townsend, Washington. The Lexington Toy and Comic Con is coming up next weekend, March 11th through the 13th, Lexington, Kentucky. And the second part of our show, I got Stan Miles from Paranormal Porch coming on to talk about their event on the 18th and 19th of March, called Battle of Betrayal. Battle of Betrayal. That features Brian Cano. And we've got just that and a whole bunch of events. Go to paranormalfiller.com, click the calendar link, and you will be good to go. Just all kinds of stuff you can get into, all the way from Paracons to public ghost hunts to the big celebrity hunts. Everything you're looking for, paranormalfiller.com. Find out more about the show. Follow me on Twitter. Like me on Facebook. And Dustin, welcome to Paranormal Filler.
Well, thanks for having me back, sir. And so you're nervous about tonight, you say?
No, okay, here's what makes... No, okay, the Twitter stuff... Yeah. No, what... you and I have this thing going where we go so far out of our way to not talk about the paranormal that it actually throws me off my game because I haven't seen you in such a long time. We get to catch up, but I don't want to be just... Okay, now I'm going to tell you. Do you have this thing in your date book where, okay, I've scheduled Wes's show. How many more podcasts can I fit in between now and the day he comes on?
No, that's not true at all, man.
I hadn't heard much out of you. I finally get you on the horn, get you scheduled, and then on my Twitter timeline, every other damn day, Dustin Pari coming on my show. Yeah.
Yeah, but I save all my good material for you.
That's
you know what I mean?
Another thing made me... well, okay, here's something disappointing me, Dustin. Those
other shows mean nothing to me, baby. It's all you.
Okay. Dustin and I were scheduled to be at the same event. This is another... I'm really disappointed. At the end of this month, and the event got canceled. And Dustin, I was bringing to you my official, anybody that's watching on the webcam will be able to see this, my official Goats in Trees calendar 2016. I actually bought one and was going to bring it to you and get it autographed, and now I'm not going to see you till God knows when.
Well, I'll see you sometime during the 2016 year, sir, and I will gladly autograph your Goats in Trees calendar. I really don't know why they make those things, but they're brilliant.
Well, you know, if you had goats and you had them in a tree, I can tell because you've already spit out 2 books in the last 3 months. So I know
right.
It would occur to you to get your cell phone out and take pictures of said goats in the tree. And
if you don't document a goat in a tree, it perhaps never happened.
I've never actually seen it happen. If it were, but you know what? Photoshop can do a lot of weird things. These goats are probably just standing around, eating hay.
It's all green screen.
Yeah, it's all. But and the other thing I got to give you a hard time about before we actually do anything productive on here, update your damn website, son.
Oh, trust me, that was in the works today. I started working on it today. I told old man Tetlow there at Ideal Events. I've been having a rough off season here. A lot going on. I had to get the book launched and everything, but now we got to. These company books like it doesn't. There's several events, and it was like, oh, I'm coming to this. I'm like, great. I have no idea when it is.
Yeah, I went. I thought I'll go to the one place that I can get all of Dustin's events together in one spot, so that I can publicize him and give him a good shout out tonight. And when I saw last year the event that we met each other at last year that's not happening this year, I said, I think I'm looking at 2015 dates, and sure enough, yep. Once I read the fine print, everything on your website is from last year. So, but I
living in the past, buddy.
I did have the foresight, no pun intended, to
well done.
pull up the Ideal Event Management page, and so we can talk about some of the places that you're going to, because you're just desperately trying to keep busy, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I've got nothing to do.
Well, I mean, you always talk about your day job, and I'm looking at this.
Yeah.
You're obviously a younger, healthier man than me, because this schedule that you're keeping would kill me. Forget the whole TV crap. Just the city hopping that you're doing would well, like I say, I'd be on more pills.
Are you trying to say I get around, sir? Are you trying to put that on me? Are you trying to give me that type of reputation?
No, I'm just saying that you ought to have your driveway paved by now. Slow down. Smell the roses.
Well, you know what it is, Wes. We made the money to pave the driveway, but the damn fence fell down now.
Okay.
The windstorms we've been having. So now, back out down the road, that suitcase full of books and smiles. Let's get a fence built.
Now, the one event, we'll go ahead and give you a plug on the one. I think that's actually the next one you got coming up, April 16th.
16th.
Post Town Elementary School. That was one that caught my eye because that's in my fairly in my neighborhood. And now Post Town Elementary. What do you know about the place? Do you actually do any research on these places before you go to them, or do you just show up and?
No, I tried to get a good background of it. Actually, I had the opportunity to go there last year. I was with my man, Mr. K.J. McCormick, and we spent some time there last year and checked the place out along with Keith Age. And, we had a real decent time there, and looking forward to heading back over there again.
Well, not to spoil the crowd, but now, do you feel like the place is active?
Yeah, I had some interesting spirit box sessions down in the basement area, down in the boiler room. I had a lot of interesting back and forth there. Somebody who was there was, I don't want to say cantankerous, because that's not the word, but definitely a smart mouth spirit who likes to give some very coy and sly replies to different things, and repetitively, so it was kind of cool. I'll tell you what, out of all the places you get to go, it was very well kept up, which I appreciate. When you're taking people around, especially people who haven't investigated much, and you're walking around in the middle of the night in the dark, it's nice to not have a lot of safety hazards and stuff. So it's a very safe location. It's a good location for people to kind of get their feet wet and check the place out. And it's always a heck of a good time anyway. You know, I just go to do things and have fun. If the spirits show up and want to interact, and that's grand. I always tell people I can't make them do anything, but some of them seem to take a shine to me. So hopefully we'll have some more good times over there.
Well, the school is one of those places that it almost surprises people that it's haunted, because it's really not been closed all that long in the scheme of old abandoned buildings.
Right.
So that adds a lot to the safety factor right there. It was up to code in like 1980, I think. So
yeah.
So that helps. Now, okay, I forgot one thing on my notes. Okay, now we're going to completely change gears.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to pitch an idea. I'm going to pitch an idea to you, because this TV thing you're doing, it's going to run its course, Dustin. You know that. So when you get done,
I thought it did many years ago, but apparently I was wrong.
Well, when you get done with your TV thing, I want to go ahead and get my foot in the door to pitch a radio idea with you.
All right.
Okay, you and I, you're going to do your motivational stuff, and I'm going to do my demotivational stuff. And we'll have people call in, and you pump them up, and you get them feeling all good, and then I'll just drag them right back down into the gutter with me.
So it's like the old McDLT effect. There's like half of it was hot, and half was cold, and you get a nice lukewarm burger for your money when you're done.
Yeah, something like that. I don't have the title yet, but I do have the tagline. I'm working on it. Basically, Dustin Pari is going to blow smoke up their ass, and then Wes Forsythe will explain the link between butt smoke and colon cancer. So I've got to get that shortened down a little bit, but
yeah.
So.
That's a mouthful, my friend.
But well, you know, I have time. I have time on my hands. I'm not getting booked everywhere like you are. Now, I did another reason I'm disappointed not getting to see you is because I have to get. I can't just go out and buy your book. You know me. I have to have the Dustin Pari autographed copy, and so I don't have your new book yet. But we are going to talk a little bit about the one that I actually read, and then we'll talk about your new one too. Because I mean that's why you're here. You have a life to. Do you mind if I say horror out?
And I'm not a member of the oldest profession, so I take no offense to it. But for those ladies of the night out there, I hope they don't either.
So I do want to know on the second. Okay, the first book I understand pretty much. It has a timeline in it. I mean, it tells you when it was written, how you wrote it in your little Spider-Man comic book or whatever the hell it was.
Captain America,
Captain America Spiral Notebook.
The
Captain. Now the second book, from the part I've seen of it, pretty much is a year. Am I getting this right? It's pretty much just a year plucked out of your life between then and now.
You got it, buddy. I wrote every day for a year, man. Every flight, every little travel from this place to that place, and just I tried to make sure it wasn't just like a day-to-day journal of I get up, went to the gym, went to work, went to bed, because that is a lot of that. But so is everybody's life. But I try to put in a lot of the inspirational proverbial smoke, as Royce put it. I try to make sure that's in there, and a lot of humor and such. But I think that it's nice because it shows people, it's the goal of the whole dang thing is that to show people that we all have to go through struggles, and we all have to go through hardships throughout a year. Everything's not always just sunshine and rainbows over here. So I think that comes across good with a couple of random little stories interlaced there.
Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break, then we're going to come back with Dustin Pari.
TarotByKen.com. Unlike other tarot readers, Ken reads multiple spreads during each session to provide you with clear, concise answers and guidance. Don't take my word for it, I'm just a voice on the radio. From Kelly, one reading with Ken completely changed things around for me. Jennifer, I feel so rejuvenated about my life. Melissa, it has changed my life. Visit TarotByKen.com to arrange your own tarot date, or you can call or text Ken at 859-229-4833.
And we're back with Dustin Pari. You're listening to Paranormal Filler. Of course, that commercial was from a mutual friend of ours, Dustin. everybody, I want prayers to go out to Mr. Ken Boggle. He had, I guess he actually had surgery this week. He had a gallstone attack, and he's pretty. Well, you know he's laid up because he's not been on Twitter for like 2 days.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, God bless him. He sent me a photo of it, of the gallbladder after its removal. Not what I usually expect when I open up my phone, but looks like they took the whole thing out for the fella. But God bless him. He's such a good guy, and he was just telling me, he said, I really feel like I'm letting people down because I'm not there to do my readings and to help them along. And that really says a lot to who he is and what he does. Regardless of what people think about tarot readings and such. I think Ken is a very talented person. He's a wonderful, beautiful spirit, and he really cares about his clients and the people that come to him. And the fact that he's going through surgery and he's having difficult recovery, and first thing he tells me that he's upset that he's letting people down. I just told him, something I always have trouble with too is you got to take care of yourself if you're going to take care of others, or you'll be useless. So he's on the mend. Hopefully he'll be back with us soon. But if anybody's out there that is looking for tarot reading and you want to check it out and get some guidance in your life, he's a fantastic resource and a wonderful guy.
Yeah, he was scheduled before the attack to help me Friday night. He was coming in to I'm sure to host on the Scarefest radio show that we do on Friday nights, and he's one of the co-hosts, and he jumped at the chance, and then within 24 hours he had his gallstone attack, and I'm at the doctor, and he felt terrible. I said, Ken, don't worry about it. That's slightly more important than internet radio,
Yeah.
But he's a great guy, and he's been a lot of fun. And I'm going to say it. Maybe he's not listening. He's more talented than he realizes when it comes to the radio.
Yeah.
His manner with people comes across very well on the radio. So I'm really pleased to be working with him.
Yeah.
He now I want to hear your version of how things went down during Scarefest last year when we boggled you. Because apparently after you got off the phone with me, you called him back or texted him back and said, well, I was just talking to him. Everything's cool. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're both horrible bastards. You're lucky I love you. So for those of you who are not privy to this whole thing, I was not at Scarefest this last year, but Wes and Ken were down there, and Ken had asked me about Wes, and I told him, I said, yeah, definitely go over and meet him. He's a great guy. I tell him that we're friends and such, and I'm hanging out, and all of a sudden I get a text message from Ken. I don't know what happened with Wes. I went over to meet him. He really was mean, and then I mentioned your name, and things took a turn for the worse. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? Like, I'm trying to jog my memory. And like I said, my last conversation with Wes was good. I call him and see what's going on, and the truth is, thought you were just going to play a little joke on me. It's very nice, the friends that I make and keep here.
But he thought, well, his favorite part of it was that after you talked to me, when you called him back, because then he thought that he was the one that had really gotten the short end of the stick. But it was a lot of fun, and that's actually due to you. That is where I met him, and we've become great friends. Now, now let's talk about the first book a little bit. I want to read, if you don't mind, Dustin, my favorite part here.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'd like to hear what people like and such with the writing, so I'd love to hear what your favorite part is.
When I ankled it into the newsroom at my scheduled time, Mr. Downtown emerged from his office like the first turd out of your bottom after a very long ride home. The imagery in that, Dustin, I have to say, brings you up there with Hemingway and
oh yeah, absolutely.
Who's another damned author?
Look out, Stephen King. Steve Pari is on the rise.
No, I love the book. Anita read it first, and she said, "You're going to love this book because he writes a lot like you do." Now, I don't have the fortitude to write an entire book. I write blogs and crap like that. But About the biggest difference I see is you love making references to pop music.
Yeah, man, I love. It's funny as I'm sitting here talking with you. It's I've got on PBS. There's a special on big band that I have playing in the background. I love my 1940s music, and actually the new book, Jessica Jewett, my good friend and editor, had asked me about putting in an audio appendix because I reference so much music throughout time. Because I think it helps to complete the picture. If you're familiar with the song and I can convey it as part of the scene or emotion, I think it really gives the reader a more viable experience, and a more tangible experience out of it. And so we put an audio index into The Devil Shivered. But as you mentioned, when you're reading what's next, there's a lot of music and different things in there because I just think it helps people to understand and to feel the emotion of it.
The part that amazed now the reason I could not do that is because first of all you're writing this longhand in a spiral notebook, and assuming that that everything you say in here is gospel truth, you did not do a lot of editing yourself. You pretty much whatever you wrote
I don't
down
do any
whatever you wrote
in
whatever was in Captain America's rear end was what went into the book. So I could not think of those references. That's the amazing part. People probably haven't analyzed it like that. I am surprised that you can be sitting on a plane and remember the song and the artist to even do this.
Yeah, my brain's a dead mess, I'll tell you. It really is strange. Like I wake up and there's old commercial jingles playing and stuff. It's like it just runs on its own, so I just kind of have to bounce through and see what goes on. But since I was a kid, I could always remember things like I saw in television shows or I heard in commercials or songs. And it's just one of those, everybody has a gift. Apparently that's mine, which is pretty much useless, but I use it to entertain myself at least and to try to make it a part of my reading. So hopefully people enjoy it. But yeah, that's all the way it is. I'm really thankful for Jessica because since we're really good friends and I speak to her regularly, she knows my voice. She knows the way that I think, the way that I talk. So when she takes it and edits these things down, it's still very conversational. It doesn't sound like, like a textbook all of a sudden. It's still just very much me and all my insanity that's in there.
Yeah, it's very conversational is a good word. Now, one part, and I'll let you, I didn't go ahead and open the book to that part, and I'm not going to waste the listeners' time while I look for it. Now here's the shocking part of the book to me. Now basically it's talking about your the sizzle episode or the screen test, whatever it was, for Haunted Highway.
Right.
Now, God love your heart, Dustin, I could think of 100 things to say about you that, well, maybe not 100, but I could find a reason not to like you on TV if I wanted to. That right. Sounds horrible, but if I really put my mind to it. But the last thing that would come to my mind is mom jeans.
Thank you. Yes, I never understood that either. So anybody who hasn't picked up a copy of What's Next, I did the sizzle reel for a show that I put together that became Paranormal Highway or whatever. It's originally called Haunted Highway, but I did the same. And I've got like my ripped up jeans on and everything else, and they come back from the screen test and they said, "Yeah, we don't like that. You wear too many rings and you've got mom jeans on." Well, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't even know if they saw the right thing.
Well, okay, let's put it in context here. I wonder if they wanted you to like have your pants down or about your knees, like is the style with the young kids now.
I thought you were making some type of sexual reference.
Well, only if you really want me to. No, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm trying to picture
like the hip hop style there.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture mom jeans on a dude because tight jeans are not in style. They're not the
not in my world.
Well, actually, I'm looking at the kids. On women, the jeans are tight. I occasionally poke fun at my wife for her mom jeans that she wears to work. But dudes, that's just not something that falls into our vocabulary. Tight jeans went out back in what, 85, 6?
Yeah, I don't know, somewhere around there. You know, I do see a lot of kids that with like tight jeans, but they like wear them like really low. So I'm not really sure how it works. It's like, here's something I can barely fit into that I can only pull up this far. So they're saggy on top and then tight on the bottom. It looks very strange.
So the question that comes to mind is, now if you if your current project ends, as it did in the first book, and then if you go back out, are you going to be more wardrobe aware?
Man, I dress the way I always dress. So my wife hates my 1980s rocker style fashion, but I still like ripped up jeans and a t-shirt. I feel like that's just the way I am, you know. Like, sometimes for work I gotta dress up and I gotta wear like the suit and tie and all that. And I like to think I make it look nice at work, but I just don't feel comfortable, you know. I constantly feel like a little kid dressing up in an old man's clothes. It's just not my. I had to go to 2 days ago. I had to go to a meeting for Blue Cross insurance company, and their their billing company, blah blah blah. So I'm there working in facial surgery up here around, and I'm there in a meeting with all the business professionals from Blue Cross. The president of Blue Cross is there. All these dentists and doctors and the office managers. 7 a.m. in the morning on a Friday. I'm just sitting in the back row, and everyone's all suited up and, gussied up. I've got my jeans on and my t-shirt, and I'm just kind of hanging out back there. And they're going through, and they're apologizing for this mistake and that mistake, and people are getting up and getting angry, and nothing's getting done. And finally, the lady's walking by with a microphone. I'm like, can I say something? She's like, sure. And so I'm really nobody in this realm completely. And I stand up and I belted out the opening lyrics to classic Patsy Cline, "I'm sorry, so sorry." And everyone just stopped and what the hell is going on? And I just said, guys, we've been here for 2 hours. You complain, you say you're sorry. And we just keep doing the same thing. This is just a ridiculous waste of time. And I just went on this little diatribe for like 15 minutes. And when I was done, I really don't know, just like when I do my lectures, I don't know what the hell I said, but people were applauding and they seemed quite happy. And one lady comes up to me when I was leaving, and she said, "Do you sing on the side? Because I really enjoyed that." I was like, man, no one knew who I was before that meeting, but I'm sure when I go to the next one, everyone will be quite aware.
Well, now, on the see, now, I personally, believe it or not, despite what you've always seen me wear, I actually like dressing up. I like the suit and tie look. I rock a suit.
But I'm sure you do. You've got chiseled features and you got very beautiful eyes. But I like your Jimmy Buffett look that you usually have.
Chiseled features. I don't think I've heard that applied to me for probably 20 years.
Well, you've heard it here first, Wes.
Because one reason I like the Hawaiian shirts, but I like suits, is you can get suits cut to hide your flaws. Those medium men's T-shirts that you like wearing will not do that.
That's why I go hit the gym every day, buddy. I eat a lot of cookies,
But I enjoy dressing up, but I don't do it. It's with me at the Paracons. Tell you the truth, it's not even one of these days. I'm going to make sure that when I'm somewhere with John Tenney. I was
just going to say it's going to be Tenney. He dresses up so beautifully.
I've got to make sure that it's a day that he's actually dressing up, and then I will dress up with him, because then we could. But I just never wanted to be the only guy in the building wearing a suit.
Right. Tenney's an interesting character because, like, you talk about his history and like punk rock bands and everything else, and then he comes to the events and he's always so well dressed. He's got like a little sweater vest on, a whole tie and a jacket. Like, it's really just. He is really an eclectic character.
My favorite, and the best part about him, everybody, when you're asking, next time you see John and he's dressed to the nines and he's looking really sharp, ask him where he bought his clothes.
Oh, they're all thrift store shops, right?
Yeah, everything on it, and he will be looking like he's wearing a $500 suit, and he will be able to piece it out to you for about $25 and change.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I once again, respect to the man, respect.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, one more quick commercial break, and we'll be back with Dustin Pari.
Lockdown 2016 at the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. June 19th, join Paul Bradford, Brian Cano, Christopher St. Booth, Deb and Nick Lance, Chris Dedman, myself, and many more icons of the paranormal field. Enjoy a celebrity meet and greet, an investigation of the entire prison, including areas that are normally not open to the public. There's even a magic show by illusionist Reed Masterson of Impossible Magic. All this and a late-night meal with the celebrity guest. The proceeds from this event benefit Unity, a Journey of Hope, a charity that grants wishes to adults with life-limiting illnesses. Purchase your tickets now at lockdown2016.eventbrite.com or visit Unity, a journeyofhope.org to learn more. Unity, a Journey of Hope, changing lives one wish at a time.
You're listening to Paranormal Filler. I'm back with Dustin Pari. Now, what's and over on Eventbrite, of course. Now, these those are the big ghost hunts that you do. You and any number of other celebrities. What's your next convention you got coming up?
Let's see, man. I've got all right. So we said we got Post Town coming up on the 16th of April. Going to go hit that. I know I'm going to be. Oh, let's see. I'm actually going to do a rare appearance out on the West Coast, man. I'm looking forward to that. Out on the USS Hornet. And that's going to be later this summer. I don't usually get out there, but they had me out there for the Great Ghost Paracon a couple of years ago. They're bringing me back out there, and that should be a really good time, man. I like to be able to go to places, just out of the realm for what's normal for me. So that should be pretty good, man. But like you said, I get to update that little website. I got a bunch of places that Mark has me going from Ideal. And so if you go on the old idealeventmanage.com site, you'll see a bunch of places. But more are being added, too, between that and I'm starting to get a bunch of motivational bookings into this year, too. So I'll have a lot of things going on. Just trying to work it all in with the day job and whatever else may be coming my way.
I'm wondering if on the Hudson Valley Paracon, that was the one that I was hoping to see you at the end of this month that got canceled. I'm thinking that all that she tried to get in all that big TV talent, and the money just finally scared her to death.
Yeah, man. It's too bad. I had a really good time last time, and I'll tell you what. As much as hanging out with you for a weekend is a blessing in itself. I fell in love with that little diner that was next to the Red Line Diner. It was like 2 buildings over from the hotel, and they had the best blueberry pie, man. I was so happy there. I would just get up in the middle of the night, go there and have some more and go back. It was always open. It was a beautiful place.
Was that the one that was around the back of the convention center, or was it down the street towards Cracker Barrel?
You came out the front door to the right, and it was like 2 buildings over.
Okay, that was towards Cracker Barrel. See, I never get the local taste when I go to these things.
No, it's the fact that you even mentioned Cracker Barrel just breaks my heart. It's just, breakfast shouldn't be a chain. Breakfast should be served as some little greasy place with a lot of neon signs, a place that just barely passed the Department of Health inspection.
Well, I have to admit,
I eat my breakfast.
I have to admit, that is my favorite thing about Gettysburg. I would almost.
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of places down there.
Yeah, I mean, whatever place, it's actually harder to get into to find a chain restaurant than it is just to drive down the street and pick your restaurant.
Yeah, that's the best stuff.
But I was in San Antonio this summer, and Texas, there's all kinds of good restaurants. I walked out of their little underground river thing and came up at a McDonald's, and I said it was like the Mecca to me. It was. I don't know. I guess I have simple taste.
Well, sometimes, the body wants what the body wants, Wes. Who are you to question it?
Actually, I think what it is. Now, you're used to it. You're used to all the traveling.
Yes.
World traveler like you are. See, I'm a hometown boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never been on a plane until last year. So when I go places, I want things that I think I get secretly homesick, and I want places that remind me of home. And it's not home cooking. It's McDonald's. It's Arby's. It's
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, when I was on the international show, man, there were some times where that's what I wanted to. And it's funny because when I'm here, I mean, outside of going for pancakes at McDonald's, I don't usually frequent those kind of places. But when I was overseas, there were some times where I was like, oh, this is like. Some places I just couldn't deal with the cuisine, I was in Italy, I was fine. I ate like a king. I couldn't have been happier. But some of the other little countries and stuff I go to, I was just like, oh, I was starving. I remember just eating Pop-Tarts. I would just pack my suitcase with Pop-Tarts and cookie dough. The cookie dough never made it from here to wherever I was going because I would eat it in flight. But the Pop-Tarts would last me, a good couple of weeks on the road, so that was good.
Yeah, the Italy makes sense to me, eating good over there because it's really hard to screw up pasta. My wife asked me this week, we had a new grocery moving in town, and they have, a lot of generics. And she said, what'd you think about the pasta sauce? And I said, it tastes like every other pasta sauce on the market. And you can't screw up spaghetti. I mean, once you boil it, it's all pretty much the same. I could not differentiate between name brand spaghetti and...
Yeah, no, it's a pretty safe bet, for sure. I was a big fan of pizza. I loved eating my pizza when I was in Italy. So good, the fresh mozzarella. It was great. Even, I remember going to gas stations and getting, prosciutto sandwiches at a gas station. It was like being at a delicatessen. It's amazing.
Now, one thing I'm curious about, how old is the offspring of Dustin Pari now?
Oh, the little lady is 8 years old. She's rounding up on 9 this year. So she's very excited about that. She's got a lot going on there. She's busier than I am. She's at school 5 days a week. Then she's got dance 4 nights a week, dance on the weekend, and all these other little extra things that she wants to do all the time. And it's really amazing. I keep trying to tell her, take it easy. Just focus on one thing. And then I'm like, yeah, no, am I to talk? This is the same life I lead. But, we always want better for our children, I suppose. But she's very impressive to me, which I'm very proud of her. She's doing great. And I get the 2 older stepsons, but they're in their 20s. Just my wife is a more mature lady. I learned to play not to say she was an older one, but so they're doing well, and even better now because they moved out and they're on their own, so that's good. And yeah, man, just keep on. It's amazing, I was saying about this the other day. I remember being a kid and thinking adults had it all together, and then I got here and I'm like, these people don't know what they're doing either. Most of the adults I know are just kind of winging it, and all of a sudden, you're in charge of the child. And it's like, okay, this is a pretty big responsibility. I don't want to screw this up. So I'm doing my best. I said last night I had an opportunity to go on the investigation down in Newport, Rhode Island, with some members of the old Cats home team there. I have some good friends that are working in that group, so I was going to go, but it was the father-daughter dance, the sweeper dance, as they call it nowadays. So I said, well, the old paranormal gig is always going to be there. The spirit world's not going anywhere, but when I go to these dances and stuff and spend time with my little one, those times are limited, Even though now, I go with her now, before I would go and she would actually dance with me. Now I go, we take a picture, we get the pizza, and then I stand there trying to make idle conversation. There's some dude I see every year, same dance, while I hold her jacket and her high.
How does this one, as a non-breeder myself, I'm always curious, how does she, or does it sink into her, or is it just a fact of life? I want to know how she feels about you being Dustin Pari.
It's interesting because she has moments of great pride with it. Like when we were having breakfast recently, and the waitress thought she knew me from somewhere. She was like, "Oh, you probably know some ghost hunters and blah blah blah, and he'll take a picture with you." And I'm like, "Oh my god, just stop," And then other times, it's like when it behooves her, she might think she might get like a free dessert or something out of it. Like she'll be like my agent, But other times when we're busy and we're at like Disney World and we have like 2 minutes to get to the next fast pass, she's like, okay, yep, let's keep going. She has no interest in that. But yeah, she's pretty cool. It's funny because she even like the newest book she wanted a copy to bring to her teacher, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But I told her, I was like, you can't read this book. You have to understand this. There's some things in this book kind of more of an adult nature than a child should be reading. So you can bring it to your teacher, but don't read it till you give it to her. Were
there any turd soliloquies in the second book?
There's a lot of odd references that came across in this new book. There's let's see. Well, I think this will probably interest you the most. There's even Wes, for your personal knowledge, there's even a section that talks about confetti and it being in my pants.
There's what?
Yes, sir. Confetti in the pants.
Confetti.
Sorry for your questions.
Okay. How does she react? Do you let her? Is she of the age where you're letting her watch you on TV, or did she get to stay up that late?
Because since the return to the show, like she had never seen the show actively while I was a part of it. When I was on the international show, she was small, and so she'd see a couple of reruns here and there. So now she's aware of it, and it's interesting because I'll come back home. I'll go film for 2 nights, and then I'll take the SD cards and stuff back on my laptop, and then I'll review my evidence here. And a lot of times she'll sit there over my shoulder, like watching the video and stuff with me, or if I find something on audio, she wants to hear it and everything. And then, like, her friends will come over, and she's like, Daddy, play that clip where the little girl goes says this. And I'm like, Dad can't do that for a random friend of yours. I don't want them going home, like, freaked out and telling their parents that, like, your dad's playing with, like, ghost clips. I'm like, we can't do that. But she loves the show. She really enjoys it. She gets quite a kick out of it. She watches it with us, so it's really cool.
I'm still trying. I'm trying to. When I was a kid, I'm trying to think, what if I had seen, if my dad had been a TV star, and I just, how much cachet they would have with the other toddlers running about.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. And like some of the kids like are aware of it and stuff, so it's kind of cool. And it's I'm just glad that she enjoys it, and I've told her enough about it where she knows not to be afraid of things and such. And she wants to try doing it too, but I'm just wait for her to get a little bit older. I'm not gonna have to push her into doing anything, but she likes to talk about it. She asks questions a lot and such, so I think that's good. The main thing that I care about with the spirituality of it all is just teaching her the respect for it. When we go for a walk through the cemetery and stuff, I always, there's no investigation involved, but we talk about being respectful of those who passed on before as she helps clean down the stones and put the little flags back up and everything. And so I figure this way, if she does ever want to do investigating when she gets older, at least she'll know that you have to be respectful first and foremost.
Well, I can't imagine the fruit of your loins not being, and not just that you're a swell guy, but just knowing enough about you and knowing. I think respect and respective people carries over, and I just have a funny feeling that most of the people that we run into in the paranormal field that go into a house provoking and and doing that type of stuff, I'm basing it on just on limited research. I will admit, I dare say they're kind of like that to people in real life.
Yeah, man. I think your personality is how your personality is. If you don't have respect for the people that you're dealing with face to face, then you're probably going to have even less for those who that you can't currently see. Which is unfortunate. It's a sad little comment on our society, but I think that's a very poignant one. And that's I don't know. It's an integral part of who I am. It's just to try to show kindness to everybody and to be respectful to everybody, even if they're not all singing from the same hymnal that you are. It's just important to at least allow people that are operating in a peaceful way to be respected and to carry on in their way.
Everyone, we have one more commercial break, then we'll be back with the last segment with my guest, Dustin Pari.
Every Friday night, Scarefest Radio.
Dude, run!
Join us every week as your hosts go behind the scenes of America's premier horror and paranormal convention, the Scarefest.
Here's Johnny.
You will be hearing from celebrities, speakers, artists, entertainers, and some of the most unique vendors anywhere.
I am your father.
Every week we will be giving away a 3-day pass to a lucky listener.
I'm afraid.
That's the Scarefest Radio. Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on ScarefestRadio.com.
You're listening to Paranormal Filler. I'm Wes Forsythe. My guest is Dustin Pari. One last thing I want to kind of hit on here, Dustin. Does it worry you more that your child would be interested, take too much interest too soon in the paranormal, or that she might actually watch some of the presidential debates that are going on?
Well, they're both good forms of entertainment. That's for damn sure. It's just one of those things, man. It's always an interesting time. I get a lot of it. I'm not somebody that speaks very publicly about political things, but I do have to say that regardless of who gets elected, I think the president has really limited power. There's so much going on with Congress and everything else. So the president's kind of like a figurehead, it's a puppet position, It's important to go overseas and meet these other leaders and have these meetings and such. And at the same time, you don't want that person looking like a clown. But, people think that, elect somebody for president, they're going to change the whole country. But they're not. It's structured so that we can't get some power-hungry mad person in there, which is good. But, everything's got its give and take, man. I don't know. I just try to govern what I can govern in my own life, and things that are out of my control, I just don't worry too much about.
I just worry about it from the standpoint, we tell our children, study hard, be respectful, do all this stuff, and someday you can be president. And then I don't care which way, the side of the spectrum that you're on has nothing to do with it. The stuff that is going on now is just, this scorch and burn politics turns me off. So I was just wondering, in the Perry household, if you made her, I'll put it this way, oh, look, there's an R-rated movie on, you don't want to watch the debates.
Yeah. No, I put out something, I think like last week or something. I think at what point did we start electing people based on, who's the biggest bully and who has the best put down to the other candidate? It's like, but, and at the same time, it's another sad comment on society. Is that, even the media doesn't just report the news. There's opinions, and those opinions are always put forth. And so, before you can even get a read for yourself on a candidate, it's already being told to you that, this person's a clown, this person's okay. And, but there's really, I'd rather see somebody just talk about what their beliefs are, what their politics are, and what they want to do, rather than just, talk about their hand size, their penis size, and cute little nicknames for other people.
Well, I can honestly say that no matter who wins, I am hoarding peanut butter and ammunition at this point. I think society is, I think we have about ran our course as a human race. I am just convinced of it.
Yeah. Well, at some point, maybe you pick out the dinosaurs, let people with our name on it, and be done.
So, let's get back to some plugs.
Now you made me want peanut butter.
Well, I mean, it's a healthy food. It is a
healthy. No, it's delicious. here's something I've been doing at work because I'm trying to cut down on the carbohydrates, because like you said, I like to wear those medium shirts because I think they're form-fitting. So I try to cut down on the carbohydrates, and I love good old-fashioned fluff together, marshmallow fluff and the peanut butter. So what I've been doing at work is I've got them in the cabinet there in the kitchen of both my offices, and I'll go and I'll get a spoonful of each, and I just mix them together, and then just put that in my mouth, and it's absolutely delicious. Plus, another low carb.
Incidentally, marshmallow fluff. Next time you make hot cocoa, instead of marshmallows, put a big spoonful of that in on top.
Oh yeah, buddy! Now you're talking my language. I might have one of those before bed tonight.
That is a little trick that I learned. I always hated waiting for the marshmallows to get soft enough to go down. And half time the cocoa got cold. But I figured out if you just a dollop of that and you got it made. Okay, back to the plugs. Okay, we got Poasttown Elementary School, Middletown, Ohio. That's coming up April 16th. That is on the horizon. They don't have any big things across it saying sold out. So that's you and is that you and John Zaffis?
Old man John Zaffis, yes, sir. The first person I ever did one of these events with back here in the States. Old man John Zaffis, God love him. He called me the other day, like, I'm getting that cabin fever, Dusty, egg up down the road. Yeah, I hear you, brother. We'll be up there soon enough.
But, so you got that going on. We're at the end of the show. Let's see here. One more big plug here. Now, the name of the book, everybody, is And the Devil Shivered, A Year in My Life. I don't think I ever did say the name of the book. And the Devil Shivered. Oh, and one more thing I have to ask you before I let you go, Dustin.
Yes, sir.
When somebody searches your name on Amazon, it makes you look like you wrote poor Joy Anderson's book. Because you wrote the foreword to Journey to Joy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I don't want to get credit for her book. It was a wonderful book.
I pulled up your Amazon page and I said, wait a minute, he didn't write that. And then I saw, when I actually click on the book, it says, Forward by Dustin Pari.
Yes, sir.
But Dustin's first book is What's Next, and I can personally recommend it because I've read it, and it was very enjoyable. I read it pretty much over the course of a weekend, flying about the country. And The Devil Shivered. Now, is that one longer, shorter? What can I expect when I get that book?
Yeah, that's like triple What's Next, man. It's I think it's 315 pages or so.
Oh hell, I'll have to save that for a long weekend.
Yes, sir. I have to block out a little time for it, but it's the same kind of thing. It's written day to day, so it's not like you get locked into a chapter and you got to count the pages to the end of it. You can just kind of come and go where you please with it.
Well, Dustin, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to let you go now, but it has been great talking to you and catching up with you. And I think we accomplished our goal for the show, which was not to harp about television.
That's right, brother. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much, my man.
I'm bringing you that calendar, everybody.
Okay, I will sign your GOAT calendar. No worries.
Everybody, I want to thank you for listening. This has been Paranormal Philip.
Paranormal.